Hi. Have you ever wanted to indulge on marijuana with the safety and privacy of your own home? Well, Nirvana Center is here to help. They have the finest tinctures, flowers, concentrates, condiments. Hell, you could buy a full aquarium.
Stop saying you can buy things that aren't there. This isn't Wall to Walmart. They sell weed and weed products. It's great. It'll get you cooked. Stop and smell the flowers.
Get your tires rotated.
Hosting space for no problem.
Mail order brides.
Hosting spaces for quinceañeras.
Yeah, they have a venue where you can have a fucking wedding. Anyway, Nirvana Center. Hey, welcome back to another episode of The Final Stop. I'm your host, Daniel Bridgegad. We're live from the ever-glorious Mescal Manor, Mach 2. Over here on the other side of the country is the Vampire King himself, King Possum. Lord Meerkat, the lonely sweater weather possum himself, is Tristan Bowling.
What's up?
Stop. We have more chocolate in the building today than normal. Act cool.
No, do you know, I just found this out. This means like a heart in Japan. Like putting your finger, like your index finger over your cross middle finger. If you go like that, it's like pretty much like a heart.
No, good. A distinguished black gentleman was wondering what Japanese for fucking love was. God damn it. Over here on the side table, it's the big man himself, the Rizzler, the love-struck loser, Andrew Oriana.
What's up?
Stop. See what I'm working with over here? And over here, sitting on the couch next to me, I think you're the first other black dude to be in this house besides me, or so Taylor claims. It's Rob Greene. How you doing?
What's going on?
I like this. You have a level of swag that we have yet to have here.
Yeah, you have that, like, you do have a sultry swag about you, to where, like, if I put a saxophone in front of you, you're going to play it, and you're going to play it good.
We also do kind of look like a before and after picture. Like, I'm playing younger you. Like, this is Men in Black 3.
Oh, in the biopic? Yeah, I could definitely see Daniel being a younger version of you.
Or they cast you to be the older version of me. They're like, he really turns his shit around, stops being such a cocky dickhead later in life.
Yeah, Rob is when he really turns it around. It becomes likable by all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once his dreads reach full maturity, he really reins it in as a man. So let's go. So I had a couple questions for you because you're the first, I think, non-comic we've had on the show.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we've had one other, but in the hot sec. But you also produce he produces new faces around Phoenix, Arizona. If you're a new comic, fucking sign up there, good time. Or if you're an experienced comic trying to get some stage time, have them on your podcast.
Newfacesaz@gmail.com.
Yeah.
New Faces AZ. Trust me, I have been ringing that line for a very long time.
I've been ringing it.
Yeah, I'm not. I am. If I had a punch card, I would be able to get a free sandwich with New Faces AZ.
There we go.
It's funny the relationship that you go through with you running that show, because you start as like, all right, I need to bring 10 people. I've never done stand-up before, or I haven't done it that long. And then you go from like, all right, he likes me, thinks I'm funny. I need to bring 6 people. I can get away with it. And then you're like, all right, he likes me, thinks I'm funny. I'm going right after the host. Let's do it. You're like, I'm hosting. Hallelujah. Or send me Daddy Coleman's number.
Yeah.
Or you text him day of. It's like, hey, Rob, any spots tonight?
Yeah. No, I definitely, I have gone through the full dichotomy of being like, it's so funny just seeing, because there's the first time comedians who are just like, yeah, I could bring 10 people. Are you fucking kidding me? And then there's the people who have seen, like, their friends have seen their set and they're like, I got a solid 6.
Yeah. 3 of them are blood relatives. The other one's kind of stupid, and 2 I fucked.
The other person I met through the Phil Berto's drive-through line.
You brought the horchata lady to a New Faces? What's the most people you've seen brought to a New Faces?
It has to have been the turkey show, right?
There might have been one before that. There was this cat at ASU. I think he bought close to like 50, 60 cats. He was in a fraternity.
Hey, Rob. I was on that show.
We've told this story a bunch. Yeah, where there was like a whole wing of the the improv was frat guys?
Yeah, it was the frat dude, and the whole left-hand side of the improv was there for him. And then I was going up before. I was like going up before him. I think I was actually hosting that night. No, I was hosting, and I was just like, the next guy, half of you are here for, and then just explode. And then I just do like one. Yeah, I do one of those like, hey, so I'm just like, half you guys are like, yo, that's my frat brother, and the other half is just being like, I don't believe the allegations, man. Fuck you.
It is fun when someone like owns the audience like that, like when they have a majority of them. You were there a couple weeks ago, and some lady said some shit to me.
Yeah.
Popped their mouth a little bit. I was like, God damn it! Had to really handle that. Do you have like a group of people that you don't like seeing? Like when someone pulls up and you're like, oh God, it's a mom squad, or it's a bunch of bros, or it's a lady comic who brought 30 other single like, is there a...
Those are my crats.
No, actually, I got
party?
a crazy story. It was really crazy because I'm a guy who watches a lot of stuff, a lot of mob stuff, MC stuff. So
Yeah.
I pay attention to a lot of things. And I seen a couple of cats with cuts coming in. I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And found out one of the comics, he belongs to an MC, and he brought about 5 of those dudes with him. They go into the show, they're doing their thing. Everything was great. They're drinking. He was actually a pretty decent comic, and everything was that. I freaking get home. And I'm not sure if it was that night or the next morning. The manager at the time hit me up and said, yo, this guy, such and such, he can't be on the show anymore. I said, what happened? So what's going on? It's like, yo, him and his crew were next door at Copper Blues and having a few drinks, and all of a sudden they just popped off on the guy, and the guy that they popped off on happened to work for the club on the off night.
Oh, so they jumped the waiter? Yeah. They fucked the waiter up, and they're like, yeah, he can't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks to be like having to just being like, oh, just in the middle of your show, you're working New Faces, you're doing a fucking set, and you're just being like, why do you look like that? It's like, oh, the guy on stage fucked me up. Anyone want nachos? Anyone at all?
Yeah.
So
Phoenix MC curb stomped my Oracle bone. That's
I'm not saying who. I don't want to say the club. Don't want to say the dude. Don't want to get mixed up. Because the guy hit me up. Like, matter of fact, he just hit me up about a couple of weeks ago, asking to get back on. I say, yeah, I can't do that.
I think you're allowed to openly. It's like Italian people, Irish people, and motorcycle clubs. You're still allowed to openly discriminate against. Be like, no.
Listen, you don't have to say who it is, but I know how rolls. He comes in heavy and he comes in hard, and I can tell that he's got the crew with him.
Yeah, let's not even get into that one. The first time no, it had to have been like the second or third show that I did, and he was on the joint, and I forgot who the people in the back, and it was just like a regular show, and then he went up, did his. How fast. He
either kills or doesn't.
Wait, did he do his, I can't feel anything in my right arm material where he just kind of lets it wave the entire time where he like turns?
And he just thought this was a good time no matter what the context was. And plus he's doing it so fast you can't really tell what the context was. He said, yeah, let me just blurt out the N-word a couple of times.
And the best part is he talks like Sylvester the Cat, where he's like, preposterous, these niggas were.
So he did that, and he got off stage, and there just happened to, because not all shows have brothers on it, but there were some brothers in there, and they were about to light him up.
And Beaker walks in from off stage.
So, yeah.
Dude, it's awesome. Sometimes his style is so cool. And for those out there who don't know what it is, all you need to know, there's absolutely no middle. You either get it or you don't.
Yeah.
There's either crushes or bombs.
The most terrifying experience I ever had in my entire fucking life. So I was walking through the Scottsdale Mall with my father. Like when I was younger, we were going to go get espresso pods and shit like that for his coffee machine. And we turn out of there and it's just gone, sitting on a bench. And I'm just like, walk up, and it was almost one of those things where it's like seeing a guy in a full mascot costume just like outside, just nowhere near anything, and just being like, is that Grizzy? Is that the Philadelphia fucking hockey team guy? He's just sitting there the entire time. I'm just like, yo, how are you doing? He's like, I'm fine. And I'm like, you're trying to kill someone here today.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I would have put that past him. Like, yeah, I kind of have to execute a hit at 3. You're kind of getting in my way.
But
You're like,
who sits at the benches in a mall?
By
Gerb.
themselves just looking aimlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have said hi, man.
yeah, you
I would
caught
have just
Gerb.
been like, we're going the other way.
You ever see a lonely man
just,
in custom orthotics sitting alone by himself at the mall? Walk the other direction.
Yeah, the guy with 1,000-yard stare in the New Balances. Stay away from him. Yeah, that guy's a fucking wild.
Have you ever had to ban someone from the show off of like just content? Like a really new person goes up and just wildly does some. You're just like, you're never coming back. I don't give a fuck how many people you
Never
got
on
pulling up.
content. There was only one. You guys bringing up some stuff. Once again, it's probably my first year doing it, and I'm just sitting in the back. You guys know where I'm sitting. I'm just watching the show, and somebody was talking to me at the same time, and all of a sudden, I'm like peeping in. Like, a lot of times, if somebody's talking to me, I'm not really seeing. I just see people doing it, and you can tell people are laughing at it. So, and I see nobody was laughing, and then I'm like starting to listen in. It's like, yeah, we gotta save the whales and this and that, and what's going on to the world. I was like, what?
Oh, they're doing like a speech. They're on a
they were
soapbox
there-
up there, just
yeah. So they were there to try to put out their
message.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, we
Their
gotta stop
TEDx
this,
talk.
man.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they at least even like attempt it? Because there's like a preachy style of comedy, but did they at least like try a punchline somewhere?
They probably started it at first, and
Yeah.
then just got into their message, and
It went real like Oscars winning. With like, I'd like to thank God and my team and my agents and the people that believe flat Earth is real.
It was something like that, and I was like, "No, you gotta go." We turned on the music. I was like, "You gotta go."
Start playing closing time. They're 3 minutes into their set. They're like, what the fuck's going on?
Dude, Rob,
Yeah.
the funniest thing is the first time I ever did a New Face was like when I had just moved here, and we were at one of the clubs, and in the green room, somebody else that was on the show had like bought like a bunch of shots, and he was in the green room being like, yo, we on our Kevin Hart shit, we about to be touring after this show, yo, y'all don't even know, we at the club, we on our Kevin Hart shit, and then went on stage and proceeded to do 5 minutes of just shout outs. He was like, give it up for the troops, give it up for y'all, and it got to the point where he was like, give it up for anybody in the color blue shirt right now.
Yeah, dude, your shows are fucking sick, because what it does, I love watching it as an experienced comic, because you get to see bros that it's their first time. They're in shorts. All right? They're in shorts
It's your
at
first
Stand Up
time.
Live. It's 300 people.
The guy is going on as blowjob boy, going on stage, and he's just like, "Listen, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna crush in my matching fucking tracksuit. Dude, it is." Literally my favorite moments in comedy have come from fucking New Faces shows where I was hosting, and like this guy comes up to me, and I'm just like, oh, yo, so how do I want, like, what do you want as an introduction? He's like, yo, call me the king of Wakanda.
Dude.
I'm like,
Dude.
I'm not gonna do that.
Some girl, the one that I hosted a couple weeks ago, her name was like, it's the one lady's name I forgot. I feel bad, but I don't really. Her name was like Ebony Smith or something. She goes, hey, can you make sure that you say my name right on stage? I was like, oh yeah, they get it wrong. Like, what's your last name? She's like, it's the Ebony Smith. I was like, wait, like the Ohio State? Like that? Like the Ohio State University? And she goes, yeah, the. I was like, all right. And the only thing I remembered was the, and she went up on stage, dude, and was, I mean, god awful, but she was in the back giving people like, my favorite thing is when like you see someone who like does good, and you're like, you have to break like the news to them. They're like, hey, you go from this, and then you find out you like it, and then you immediately have to go to an open mic with 4 people at like and it's funny to see some people think that like that's what it is all the time.
Oh,
They're like, no, I only perform at Stand Up Live and do these big shows. And you're like, all right, well then, I mean, you're good for like what you're good for. You bring people and you have a good time. Like, you're not.
Yeah.
I love watching the world shatter. Where they're like, wait, I have to go out. You're like,
I remember one time it was me, Luis, and Reese hanging out at the Improv, and it was one of your shows, and some dude had a full like fat head cutout of him in the lobby.
That's tough.
Moving merch.
That's tough. I remember this guy.
No, that's fucking cool.
No, I remember that. He had a full head to foot thing.
if you had a Jeff Dunham style cutout of yourself just sitting there and just fucking be like,
To be
like,
fair,
dude.
most comics come in and they're like, a lot of the way people get into comedies are like the the dark horse. They weren't the coolest. They weren't. It's fun to see people come in from the other end where they're in like a friend group of 30 and they're the cool guy at the office and they're just like, yeah, dude, I'm out here slanging jokes. You're like, you're horrible. Why do you have a cutout and you're selling merch?
Yeah, still up here in his fucking gold toes, like fucking talking shit, just being like, does anyone know about accounting? What are they doing? And just being like, fuck. I want to ask you, Rob, what is the most surprised you've ever fucking been by some guy? Because I can tell you, I know you've walked into that green room and just seen like, that guy's gonna be a fucking dud, and this guy sucks.
There's a few joints, and I remember there's a few times I've had to turn my back on situations.
You walk in, a dude's in a luchador mask. He's like, no.
No. Do you mean the guy oiling himself up in the CP Live green room?
There's a few. We're gonna warm our way up to it, but one of them where I knew it was gonna go horribly bad, and this was at stand up. And, you know, sometimes when people ain't got their joints, they'll go out into the out into the yard and start barking, "Hey, come and see me!" Bada bing, bada boom. And for the most times, if I don't see it, if the club doesn't hear about it, if the security doesn't say nothing, do what you do. So the dude came in, I got this many people. I say, all right, cool. But he was a street dude. When I mean street dude, I'm not meaning like a hard person. He was a street dude. So he didn't know about club etiquette like with buying drinks. So he went down to CVS and bought a 12-pack and bought it back.
Wait, so you don't mean a street dude, you mean a homeless man.
I know. I was like, damn, was this like a Pyru or something? You're like, no. Homeless as hell.
Yeah. So you're saying the guy duct taped 2 40s to his hands and being like, hey, I'm here to do new faces. Yeah, that's not a barker, bro. You're dealing with a ex-convict.
So that was one of those. I like walked into the green room. See, I gotta turn my back because if I acknowledge this, I can get in trouble.
Yeah,
so
you're like,
I didn't go back to the green room for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I can't see that. You're like, I know they don't stock the mini fridge with actual alcohol on these nights, and there's a bunch of Michelobs in there.
Yeah,
You know, they're like, hey man, what's up with this? I said, man, I don't know. I said, I wasn't. I'll pay more attention. Hey, I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
You know, the thing with the people and the timing and the lights.
When did Stand Up Live start selling 12-ounce cans?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I didn't know Stand Up Live had cobras, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, just like that guy with the what you call it? Those the drinks that the guy bought in. I almost got lit up for that, so I got to make sure I pay attention.
Oh, the little shooters.
Yeah.
Someone brought in shooters.
Yeah.
That guy's at least trying to be respectful. He could have brought in the handle of Fireball, but he defied it.
So I do see some things here and there, but majority of people trying to do the right thing. And the one thing I tell every person, they'll bring in from their 10 to 15 to 20 people. They'll have a good time. They might even be halfway decent and get some laughs. It's like, oh man, I'll be back next month. I say, yeah, I wouldn't advise doing that. I said, because what you're going to do is you're going to burn out your support. People who you're actually cool with. No, man, they're going to support me. So then they'll go from 15 to 7.
Yep.
And then even with that 7, I'll let them play. And they'll be like, I'll be all right. Few people dropped off because of this and that. I'll be back next month. And next month, there's 3 people. I said, dude, you're going to lose friends. You got to stop.
No, for sure. Because those are the guys that don't actually end up doing stand-up, but they get caught in they just want to be on stage at what looks like a real show.
Yeah.
Because they see that and they're like, I'm on the same stage that fucking Kevin Hart's performed on the stage to this many people, and you're like, no, this is a different thing.
That's like a toxic part of social media, to where it's the amount of people seeing clips of people just crushing in between, just doing mild crowd work, just tossing it out, and it just seems like such alley oops. But what you don't see is the first 25 minutes and the latter half of 15 of him
hard
doing
bits.
of like doing an entire headlining set.
Yeah.
And he's just like, people are acquainted. People are like, they know what you're doing.
Yeah.
They know the vibe of the crowd, and they're there for you.
Right.
Which is like, it's not even like a sect of the crowd. It's like the entire crowd is there for you, and they're just like, I can do this shit.
Yeah.
And then they come, the best is they pull up with that same headliner energy, and then they don't move the mic stand. They come right out, and they just take the shit out.
My favorite thing in the goddamn world.
No, you know what my favorite thing is, Rob? Tell me if you feel this way, because I know it'll fuck up your show from time to time if it happens a lot. Playing people off has to be hands down one of the funniest things.
It's funny to us. It ruins the show for everyone else, which is why you probably hate
It's
doing
the best and the worst thing.
Yeah, because I can't imagine the power. Because I would literally have one of those office style buttons, like, oh no, you didn't. Like, and I would have like one of those buttons that I would just big, large, like I was on the fucking Voice.
That's
And
unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to be nice. I try to be flexible as best I can. I probably don't play off as many as I should. But, like, if I know you're doing total garbage, it's like either super offensive or just going nowhere, I got no problem. I'll look right at especially at the 10P where the guy's right there, and I'm like,
yeah.
let's get ready. It's about to happen. And sometimes I'll even start off the night in the green room with the meeting, and I'll even say it. I'll say some dumb shit like, hey, we got 15 people on tonight. I'm thinking about setting a record and playing off 6 people.
Just to set the tone.
Just to set the tone so people can keep their sets in line. So I'll probably do that for the next one.
No, because I remember I did one with you. I was doing a guest spot on it. And I think, like 7 people got played off that night?
Jesus.
Like, to the point where, like, Peter could not go on the show anymore because so many people ran the light.
Bro, just guys completely going off on just a tangent that leads nowhere, and you're like, start playing Beyonce. Get this guy.
No, dude, I just, can you imagine? Like, I've been in there. In the way that I could describe that debriefing that you come in and do is that we're parachute airport men. we're like parachuters like in the Air Force, and you're just like, we're dropping on 0200. If you do not make your drop, you will be shot out of the sky.
You will be shot by Family Ties by Baby Keem. All right, you will be shot out of the sky.
Hey, trust me, I've seen those people get shot out of the sky, and I'm just like sitting there trying to land in a fucking marsh, just being like, like it's so great.
It is kind of that feeling. I do like those shows because it is. There's your occasional people who have done it before, like an experienced person's done it 3-4 times, but you do get that feeling of people sitting there just being like, fuck.
You have
They're looking at pictures of loved ones before.
Hey, dude, if you ever want to, like, not even humble yourself, but, like, the opposite, just go there as, like, a semi-established comedian. And, like, Rob, you walk in there and it's just like, oh, I know what I'm doing for my 5. Like, you see those people being like, yeah, I know what I'm doing for my 10. If they make me go long, I can go long. I'll have fun. And then there's people sweating fucking bullets. And just being like, I printed out all my material. I'm like,
If you told them they were doing 6 instead of 5, they'd shit themselves. You'd be like, huh? 60 more seconds?
I have to talk? And it's like, those are the people where I'm like literally astounded that I'm just like, you think that you're just going to have some like fucking WEM fucking agent come in here and shit, just be like, yo, listen, I saw your hot topical 5. And now that I know that you could bring 20 people to one place in the hometown you live in, you're sold.
You're in there. I do like, they looked at me like Gandalf the last one that I did. I went in there, I was trying to just be like so nice. I was like, hey, just so you guys know, take the mic. If you're a take it out of the stand guy, put the stand behind you. And some people looked at me like I was cocky, like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm sorry, I'm not. My fault. And then some people still went up there and didn't move the microphone. I was like, you'll never make it. You're out. You can't follow simple fucking instructions. You're out. You're done.
See, what I started doing during shows is to proclaim dominance here in New York City, what a lot of people do is we take the mic stand and throw it as hard as we can into the audience. And
You do like a javelin throw.
usually I get through like 3 rotations, like I'm throwing it like one of those shot puts, and then I just send it into the first row, and they respect me.
What made you want to get, like, because you don't do stand up yourself as far as I'm concerned, right? What made you want to run a comedy show? Because you could have ran any type of show.
Yeah,
No,
because you have like an established background in like running stuff. Like you're like you know what you're fucking doing, and it's very interesting to see you apply that to a comedy show when you could be like, yo, this is like you could definitely run like any other anything.
Well, your background's
And-
hip hop, right?
My background's hip hop, but actually it's a funny story on actually how it happened. So, if you guys are familiar with the Tempe Improv, you know about the offices
Yeah.
that you see towards the back. Now, before COVID, that used to be a bunch of computers in there, and they used to have a whole marketing team that would be on the phones. And I was actually part of that team at one point. So basically, you know, those cards people fill out and stuff. So they take their information and put it into a database. So when certain comics where we needed to make sure we, you know, pack the house, we would, you know, call up.
Yep.
Hey, how you doing? This is Rob from Tempe Improv. We got such and such coming in town. I got 4 free tickets for you. Bada bing, bada boom. So I did that for about a year and a half and whatnot. And somebody else, no names, ran it before me, but they weren't happy with what he was doing. Now, one of the guys who I was really cool with, comedian that really schooled me about the comedian game, my man Dustin Rounds, somehow my name got to the higher ups, and they asked me, say, hey, do you want to be the coordinator for New Faces? So Renee, we sat down for 2 shows, showed me how to do it, and I just took it from there.
How long you been doing it for?
Shit,
Can
about
I
6
can I
years
tell you
now.
something real shit?
Damn.
So every time, like even like I started getting like doing hosting shit pre-COVID, like barely, and then like throughout COVID, I got like more hosting shit. Dude, it was so funny. Every time I was able to like tell how the weekend was going, because they would text my girlfriend. And they'd be like, "Oh, do you want to go see Mitch Fatel's hosting weekend or
Yeah.
headlining weekend?" And I'm just like, "We're already going, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Like,
He ain't moving tickets like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
But-
the amount of times my girlfriend had to pick up a phone call and just be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be there." Tristan Bull, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're good, you're good." Yeah.
But
And-
but it was actually interesting times back then, because I was able to see people that we were pushing who won't even be playing none of the clubs anymore because they got so big. And one of the people was
Yeah.
freaking Theo Vaughn. We were like
Oh, yeah.
begging people, nah, see Theo Vaughn, tell you he's boom, boom, boom. And just 2-3 years later, that dude, you know, was playing arenas and playing other places, and we were giving away those tickets. There were one time we were giving away tickets for Tiffany Haddish and Little Rel on the same bill.
What?
And yeah. And
that's
so-
crazy, dude.
yeah, so just seeing that type of stuff, you know, develop is, you know, just seeing how people grew is just amazing. Watching you guys grow, so it's a, you know, it's kind of on the same way, and you just never know.
Do you ever see
Yeah.
it go the other way? Where you see someone do, like, you didn't really have to paper the room for them, then they come back the next year, you had to paper it, and then maybe they do a one-nighter? Like, you ever see people go, like, down?
Have you ever had to work for Carlos Mencia? Is what the question is.
See a
Let
guy
me
go
tell
from-
you,
I know his
everybody's got
Cinco de
that thing
Mayo
about.
his Cinco de Mayo show was light last year when I was there, because I remember it being a talking point.
Really? Well, when I did it last year I was actually on staff doing security, and Carlos.
For Mencia?
Yeah. And
Oh shit! Then you know more than me.
so with Carlos, it's a weird thing. Comedians have their thing about him, but the public has something different about him.
They love
Oh,
him, right?
dude, I did a guest spot for Carlos Mencia at the Improv. It is probably one of the 2 times I've seen it completely packed to the fucking gills.
Yeah.
And just like, and I felt like an asshole because I'm like sitting in the green room just being like, yo, I want to dap up Carlos when he comes out. And he was like, nah, he's doing 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You're good to leave. And I'm just like, what the fuck do you mean? And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, he's just, he had his whole recording crew with him and shit like that. He's like, nah, he's live streaming this. It's going to be like a 2.5 hour show of just him. And I'm just like, that is honestly just fucking impressive. Just like literally, if from the standpoint of even if he was stealing all of his shit, literally if he was stealing every single word, to be able to remember 2.5 hours of stealing words is fucking impressive. Like, I
Is it
couldn't,
funny
like,
by the end?
dude? It's great. He's leveling throughout the entire fucking thing.
Damn.
He-
All right, I guess
So
we got the
like I
film.
said, you got to see him. It's weird. Everybody's got their impression about him, especially people who are comedians behind the scenes. Everybody's got their thing, but the public, it's something totally different. Like you said, he'll be out there for 2 hours, easy.
And they don't give a shit. They're like, please more.
They're out there. They're loving it, and then he'll come out and shake everybody's fucking hand, take a picture with everybody. So fucking security were like, when does this shit end?
That makes sense. Well, that's how he keeps his fans, though. Probably you got to be.
Yeah.
If you go and you're like, bro, he was on stage for 2 hours, and then we stayed after for an hour, and we took pictures. Like, I'm coming back the next time that fool's in town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's not-
like literally, people walking out of there are probably leaving at like 2, but like the staff isn't getting out of there until like 3:30.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember one time doing a doing a New Faces, and he did a drop in because he was going to be in for the weekend. So just even as a drop in, he
Dude,
did
I
40
can't-
minutes.
I can't.
Wait. Did he clear that?
Huh?
Did he clear that by you?
Fucking Carlos Mencia.
I
Like, who the
guess,
fuck am
yeah,
I? You know?
Yeah.
They say, hey, Carlos wants to go on for a few minutes.
Dude,
And I
the
was
same
like, go
thing-
ahead.
The same thing happened in New York. I was at my buddy's. Audition for Gotham Comedy Club out here, and they're just like, it was 2 before him, and they're just like, all right, we have a special drop in, and it was Jim Gaffigan, and he did 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was just like, after that, you're like, all right, so we can go home. And it's like, no, we still have to see if everyone else is good. And they're just like, dude, you fucking ruined the entire night.
Yeah. You're not gonna do good
Like-
after Jim.
Yeah, dude, I would love to be the New Faces guy going up after. Can you imagine getting bumped for Carlos Mencia, and you're just being like, oh, I know this Joe Rogan stuff. Everyone's gonna go up there and hate him, and then he rips for 40 fucking minutes, and you're just like, humming. Have you ever been to Starbucks?
Yeah.
Like, it's-
Imagine being the person that goes after him, and that's your first time, and you just have to follow.
Nah, but a cat like
brought
that, he was the
9
last
people?
person. I mean, he has to be.
yeah.
You
oh,
can't
he
go
was
after him.
last?
Yeah. He had
Oh,
to
then
be.
easy peasy. I thought he was going in like
I thought he was doing like a
going
middle
fourth
spot.
to the last.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what I would do. As soon as the guy, that's what they did with Jim Gaffigan. As soon as he showed up, he was just being like, "You want to go up next? Literally any amount of time as possible. I will light this person at 1 minute and a half."
I'll play this
Yeah.
person off stage right now, Jim. You give me the fucking green light.
Yeah, and when you go on stage, they'll completely understand. Like it's fucking it's wild. But dude, that's one thing that I miss is doing fucking the New Faces is so nice just to see like it just to go amongst like people just kind of going in because you see the people who are actually like, yo, I brought like 12 people from my work. I'm really trying to do this shit. I'm trying to get a fucking clip of something. I'm trying to go out and I'm trying to fucking, this is like what I think is like going to be like, not like the springboard, but like the start and just being like, I'm performing not at like a local bar in front of 25 people. This is an official comedy club. There's actual people here.
That's
And,
basically
like-
how I got in when I started in Seattle. I did like the New Faces at Laughs Comedy Club, where it's like you had to bring. It's a little bit smaller, so you had to bring 5 people. So I just brought some teammates and my girl. But like, it gives you a better taste in your mouth, even if you do bad. It gives you like you get slapped in the face a little bit less because if you go to your first time is 4 people at a fucking motorcycle bar and no one's looking at you, you're like, fuck this. This sucks ass. I'm never doing
Dude,
this again.
How I envy the people who have their first time at New Faces. My first time was at Stand Up Scottsdale at fucking midnight on a Wednesday with my dad and the host in the audience.
And you already ran your new shit by your dad on the car ride on the way over. He knows
He's
exactly
been hearing
what's
it for months. And I'm just sitting there and just like, hey, here's me pooping my pants at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Here's how it goes. And they're just like, yeah, I like that. And I'm like, you mean it?
You've been around comedy a decent amount. You ever thought about pulling the trig?
No.
Nah,
Not even
come
a
on.
little bit.
Why not?
Not even a little bit.
What part about it is the part that's keeping you from it?
Dude, you see every single comedian be a fucking wiener.
No,
There's
no.
way.
he gets to see good ones.
I've
too,
been
though.
watching.
Yeah.
I've been a comedy fan for a long time. I'm an older cat, so I go back to the days of Def Comedy Jam, Comic View and stuff like
Okay.
that. So I used to
yeah.
even tape episodes, and I used to study comedians, but I've always admired the art, but never say, hey, I can do this.
I say it all the time. We need more people like you, because basically in our business, everyone wants to be. You have to be some level of narcissist to like get on stage and be like, my fucking take on spoons is hilarious. You're like, you're an asshole, really, at the end of the day. So like, we need more people that like appreciate it and want to be a part of it, but don't want to do the thing. Because like, you help so many comedians and people like you, whether it's like a videographer or a sound guy or like somebody who like, no, you do the stupid fucking dick jokes. I'll handle.
Admittedly, you have helped me so fucking much, Rob. Me doing a New Faces got me in front of Casey.
Oh, yeah.
And then me doing back when he was booking the thing, like that just kind of helped me. So you really, it sucks that like it's kind of like perceived as like not like an illustrious show. It's like it's a bringer and people are like but it's like it's really an illustrious show. It's
If
like,
you get because there's spots built in for the experienced people to help you
that's
go
what
forward.
I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. There's like an underlying like fucking vein of the show where it's just like there's all these people doing their stuff, they're bringing their people, but really if you look at it in the certain, they're bringing their people for fucking you.
Yeah.
It's like if you look at it, it's just being like you can capitalize on the entire crowd. It's not like they're not going to be laughing for everyone except for their person.
They're supportive as shit, which is almost like a dress rehearsal for because if you open for a headliner who has real fans, they're hyped to be there. They're just excited to be in the fucking building, which is like half of these people because they're like, holy shit, Greg from accounting's doing fucking stand up. Let's go like be excited. And then it's just like, nowhere else can you get a 300 person show anywhere else without actually getting booked on, a full weekend somewhere. So it is like a full like it's a full scrimmage basically where you can get judged if you're a experienced like Arizona comedian who's not just like doing strictly open mics anymore.
Well, I'm happy you guys embrace it, but there's a level of the comic underground in Arizona that doesn't.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because they want the opportunity to showcase, to be on that particular stage, and they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So they get mad at the show being a bringer show. Like they want to be in front of, that type of crowd of 120, 150. As you said, even we've had it up to 200. Heck, the show we had last week, that was 246.
Decent.
So
the turkey show,
fucking fat.
the Thanksgiving turkey show, that one I think that was pretty packed out too, right?
yeah, that one's always 2+. But some people in the underground of this thing, they hate it. So once in a while when I'm running a little dry and sometimes I'm just trying new things to promote, I'll go into some of the Facebook groups and just drop a thing. And there's a couple of times I caught some hate. Oh, this is the worst show and this and that show. Man, they should cancel that thing and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I can see your name. You know?
Guess who's not coming anymore no matter how many people you bring, you dumbass?
No, but they weren't coming regardless, but I can see your name.
Yeah.
I know who you are.
Yeah.
And one or two of those people, they came to me and said, hey, can I get a spot? And one or two of those people, I said to them, I know what you said before.
Yeah.
But I became the bigger man and say, no, I'll still give you a shot. Just understand, I know what you feel about this thing, but you still, but I'm going to give you a shot anyway. I'm not going to be petty about this.
Literally,
I'm not,
literally bringing this back to the beginning of the podcast, you are the bigger man that Daniel evolves into. Because
make no mistake, I will scorn somebody.
Way. There is no fucking way. That guy Daniel would have an effigy to that guy that he would burn every night.
If someone commented and they go, yeah, DBG and Friends kind of blows, they should cancel that show, I'd be like, oh yeah? And then it would cut to my room with like a mass just collage of pictures of them. Like, this guy's gonna fucking die.
Yeah, like when someone dies in the Emmys. It just being like a photo, just being like, here he is, when he thought I wasn't shit. And here he is again.
God, I've fucking shower dreams about that. Just being able to pull up to people who wouldn't book me at a point and be like, hey, just so you know, I could sell out 9 shows at your venue now. There's not a chance. I'd rather cut off my dick than perform at your stupid fucking venue.
And then you bite off their nose.
So with a lot of people also, it's about learning how to network and politic.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are just walking around, going to these coffee shops, doing their 5 to 10 minutes and be like, waiting for somebody from CAA to be outside. Hey, I was having a tea and I noticed you. Can I sign you? When you got to do a little bit of just networking. Like some people come up to me who are friends of yours. Hey, I know this guy. I say, hey, man, I'm not going to let you host, but you can get a guest spot. Everybody right now that I have hosts, for the exception of maybe Rob Maybe and Josh Grace, who were kind of grandfathered in where I didn't know anybody. And, the club said, all right, here's a couple of people to, have as hosts. But anybody else I have hosting started in this thing and did what they were supposed to do.
What's up, boys?
Yeah, no, he's one for one. Matter of fact, I'm going to get into his thing really quick. It was funny thing. So I seen him come up a couple of times before. I just seen Andrew is just being the sound guy, video guy. And So I thought that was just his thing.
It doesn't. No, the thing is,
you'll forever be our sound bitch.
No, Rob. The funniest thing is that I think it was 2 years. It was the year Luis won the competition for funniest comedian. Daniel brought me up to you. He introduced me. He's like, hey, this guy's my sound guy. He's here recording. He also does comedy.
Because wait, there's two things. He goes, all right, cool. Nice to meet Daniel, sound guy. Also, Daniel's a fucking sound guy.
So then I eventually put him on. I seen him do his thing a couple of times. And of course,
What did he eat on stage?
And
he does that closer where he eats an entire Big Mac and cries.
And we had the turkey show coming up, and I explicitly came to you and I said, you have to do the show.
Yeah.
And you was reluctant. I said, trust me, do the show. He fuck around, did the show, won. While he was upstairs, Chad came to him, offered him up opportunity. He's hosting a couple of weeks
I know.
later.
We've heard about that weekend with Jeremy Piven ever fucking since.
No, I'm just saying, but see, so
that was the
you
Piven
actually owe me
weekend?
some points. Okay, I just want to say you owe me some points. Technically, Tristan owes
Trust
me a
me.
couple of points too.
I've never
And-
not given you your points.
No, I mean money,
me and
motherfucker.
you are
I need
black,
some
so-
percentages.
I've
you know?
directly attested to you being part of my career.
No, I think, and believe it or not, him too.
Whoa. I was about to be like, you see how
that's
y'all
where,
niggas
that's
owe them
where you
points
get into
and we're
muddy
just black?
territory.
No,
Daniel
no.
doesn't think. No,
I mean,
no,
all you
Daniel,
guys owe some taxes, but I'm gonna be cool.
Yeah,
No, Ross.
no.
So for
As
him,
far-
his goes back about as long as I've been doing it. So I believe he came in one time in between where he was back and forth from being a quarterback and a comedian, and he did. And I said, dude, you got some good shit. You need to come back and do this. He came back about a year and a half, 6 months later. I forgot what it was. They said, "Yo, dude, I'm back. Put me on." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I gotta see you again."
Coach.
Also, Rob, let me tell you, at the time, he was a full-time comedian, not time quarterback. So
I was limping around.
And yeah, he was limping around. He was just fresh out of a boot. And I definitely attest most of my like going up and doing like. I have clips that are like still to this day on TikTok that are like doing fantastic, that are strictly because I'm at a New Faces show.
Okay.
And I'm just like, Rob gave me a fucking spot. So I will forever commend you for that.
No, it was also funny because we were talking about how I started doing them. The second time I did it was at Stand Up Live. Daniel was doing a guest spot on it. And I got off stage, I had a great set. And then you came up to me. And you're like, yo, I didn't know you had it like that, dog. You gotta come back again.
Nah, hey.
I'm weak. You're the way you like openly insult Andrew from just the beginning of your relationship.
It doesn't seem like an open insult until looking
I
back
thought you
on
were
it.
just the sound
just walking
guy.
up, just being like, "You can talk." No way.
Once again, I just thought it is
Wow.
a sound guy.
Yeah, that mouth doesn't only open for food. What the fuck is going on?
Damn, bro, that boom mic guy really fucking. That really is a cool 3 minutes. That's
A cool 3 minutes. The last two were shaky, but a cool 3 minutes. You did really well up there.
for sure. You know, if he's not busy sounding the place.
Yeah, when he's not busy doing Joe List's hour, he's doing a great time.
The best part of doing this thing is watching some people who are like in that right middle spot. They've done it a couple of times. Say, man, I really wanted to get down and do this. It's like, you really got to start doing other spots. I said, no, I'm willing to do it. I said, I'm not just talking about other clubs. I need for you to do some other open mics.
Yeah, like go to a bar, go to a coffee shop.
No, I got the best one. This is what I tell them every time. And some people have done it. Some have survived. And some have not. And they'll be like, hey, I want you to go across the street, the Devil's Advocate on the Monday.
Yep. That's where the fucking rubber meets the road, my friend.
So, and the tire meets your forehead.
Yeah. So if you're able to go there
Yeah.
and still like comedy,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, the
You're on a
comedy
patio,
equivalent
it's
of being
100
killed by
degrees.
a bus.
Yeah. some asshole like spoiled 20-year-old's gonna drive by every 4 minutes and rev his fucking Hemi to the nth degree. There's a line outside of Cane's. Kids are screaming. You're like, and tell me a joke about your mom. Go. You know?
Yeah, and also
No, yeah,
the
do that
sport-
act out you did on stage. See if that plays over
Yeah,
there.
the infamous that I call it, the horseshoe of assholes, sitting on the patio.
It is. It's a semicircle. You got people to your back if you face a certain direction too hard, and you're like,
I think it's the best fucking thing besides New Faces. Fuck that. No, because the reason why is if you really want to do this thing after doing New Faces,
you
your
come
graduation
right down to
is not going up,
Yeah.
but it's going down.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And just hearing no laughs.
I think there's a natural progression of like just Phoenix comedy. You start and you do a New Faces, and then you go from New Faces and you do, DBG and Friends. Then you just get rich and famous, and then those. Then you do that. You do a DBG and Friends. You just get JFL and a bunch of Disney deals and stuff, and it goes right to the top.
And then you go to Don't Tell Comedy, and then you go to Desert Dogs at the Stand.
There's a fun progression. It's really
Yeah.
blueprinted in.
It's a dichotomy. Literally, we are the ladder, I think. No, but dude, fucking the amount of times I've had people come up to me and just being like the same amount that you guys have had it, I'm sure, with all your butt fuck friends coming from the office, thinking that they're like, oh, I could do stand up, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, I incline you.
I wish you would. I wish you would.
I'm like, I think you can. I just set them up for failure as
Yeah.
hard as I can. Where I'm just like, do you know what? I think you're the next fucking Jeff Dunham, dude. I think you're gonna kill it. And then they go on stage. I've done that to a couple guys in high school when I was doing stand up when I was really young. Like dudes would be like, "Yo, you're doing stand up? I've always wanted to." And we're like in the same fucking tech drama class, and I'm just like,
How
all
did
right,
you
come
drop
with-
out of tech drama class?
I didn't drop out of tech drama class. I dropped out of all of high school.
Do you know Hayden? Do you know Hayden messaged me specifically and was like, "Give Tristan shit and tell him that a GED doesn't mean you graduated high school," and it really bothers him. Yeah, you didn't graduate. You have a GED. So let's make that. Let's draw a line in the sand.
I never claimed that I graduated high school. I know I have a GED.
No, just your friends are cocksucks, and they're texting me on the side, being like, "In case you ever need some ammo." This is
Yeah, welcome to my friend group. We undermine each other. If anything, that's a perfect comparison to the podcast.
yeah.
Like there's group chats.
We just did a fucking hour about how my love life is falling apart, and you're talking about his shit.
It's great.
Yeah,
this
Rob, do you believe that Andrew gets pussy ever?
We'll talk about not new faces for a sec. This is. Where am I?
Yeah, non-new faces. Let's take this completely out of the dichotomy. Do you think Andrew could ever get
pussy?
There's somebody for everybody.
That is not. That is the answer I wanted.
No, that is 100%. There is somebody for everybody.
Would you believe it if I told you the hottest new open mic chick on the scene took a real shot at Andrew?
There's somebody for everybody. I'm telling you for a fact. You see it all the time.
Wait, Rob, can I pantomime what you just did? Follow my head movement. Tell me if it sends an answer. There's somebody for everybody. Yeah.
Trust
me. Can you follow that? It's no. There's
I've seen guys. I mean, guys have a point, just like chicks have a point, where they're like, "Shit ain't running right." You know? I can't pay the rent. You know,
you're summarizing Andrew getting good pussy to him like
no, I'm just saying. So everybody's got, even the baddest chick, you catch them on the right time. You're like, so everybody's got
stars align.
Hell
the planets have to align for you to get pussy.
Yeah, listen, when lightning strikes, Andrew.
Dude.
It doesn't strike in one place twice.
You know what, Rob? It was really fun having you here today.
No, I'm just saying. I got nothing against you. I'm not saying you. I'm saying anybody and everybody. And you
but mostly.
But if we're gonna be specific, it is you.
Every cats used to talk about it all the time. Friend of mine used to call it going to duck season, getting those wounded ducks in right before the lights come on. I mean, you get them while you can get them, man.
Are you saying that Andrew is tagging handicapped ducks?
No, man.
Dude,
right before that light comes on. Hey, you want to go to the diner and get something to eat?
Yeah, the mallards with the light hail of
I'll go with you.
Yeah, the ducks with the light hail of buckshot on their wings. The ones who can't run.
Dude, the ones that were born with genetically deficient feathers, they're not waterproof, so they have to walk around the lake.
I'm just fucking like the Finding Nemo of people where it's like, I have one flipper and that's about it.
Make no mistake, we make fun of him and call him fat and unfuckable all the time. It's almost like a branding thing on this podcast. You do it in such an elegant way that fucking...
Look, this is the way I look at it. This is why I look at it. One day you hit a 6. Next day you hit a 4. People say, how your week going, man? I hit a 10 this week.
That is math.
Just how you place it. Long as you get numbers, it don't matter.
Yeah,
you gotta have more black uncles on here. They really break it down.
Just saying.
Nobody breaks it down like a black uncle, dude.
But that being fair, Andrew hits it like, yo, I hold hands with a 9.
That's almost like I got head from a 7. That's fun.
He's got like hibernation rules, like a bear. Like he just like, I hold hands with a 9. That saves me for fucking the next winter.
Bro. Duck season?
Yeah, man.
Oh my God! And give it up for Andrew the Rizzler, Duck Hunter, Oriana. Fuck, man.
Whenever I see that arrow in the sky, those geese. Gus is what I would like to think the plural of geese is Gus. A flock of Gus. Whenever a flock of Gus comes through in an arrow formation, I know that Andrew is getting pussy.
Part of me kind of wants to get Andrew like just a fun gag gift would be get him like a woodland camo beanie. Just be like, here you go. You're gonna need this. It's fucking duck season.
It sucks that Andrew's Tinder works like Twinkerbell, and we have to like wish upon a shooting star.
Yeah, you really gotta believe in it for it to work. It works like Santa.
Yeah.
It's like the food from Hook, where it's like it's only real if you believe in it.
Andrew,
God.
did the blue fairy ever meet you and get pussy? Yeah.
I think this is good. This is what every decent show needs. It's just one guy who really. Andrew's
You really
like
want to win.
Andrew's like a shitty sitcom. They really play out the love story over like 7 seasons. Then it ends with a girl you think he'd be with from season 1, and you're like, you should have banged the whore in the beginning. We told you.
I mean, shit.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Robin was there the entire time.
I mean, look at Costanza. He got paid from now and then, so that's your Costanza.
Oh man, he called you George.
Dude, honestly, the
George
fact that,
Patrick Nom Nom.
Fucking nom noms.
Hey, listen, he's George, I'm Seinfeld, you're Kramer, and you can say the N-word, so that's okay.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, your Laugh
That's
Factory
funny.
moment is going to be a non-issue.
Yeah, that really soothed my ego. I'd be super okay with that. But you can name it the show. You can be the star. You can name the show after you. Every time I enter a room, I need people to lose their fucking cookies. I need people to.
And it's just the way you enter the room. It's
I
just
know
the
you're a
way you go
Seinfeld
in.
guy.
Huh?
I know you're a Seinfeld guy.
Yeah. Like I said, I love all comedy, man.
Are you
It's-
Seinfeld? Is Seinfeld your number one? Your number one sitcom?
I would, well, my number one sitcom is Martin Family.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be mine too. I thought you said Martin for about 3 seconds. I was like, that makes sense. And then you said Modern Family, and I was like, whoa, that's a 180 from
I
Martin.
thought you said Martin as well.
You were sitting there waiting for a fastball. He threw a changeup. No, it was
know.
a
The
Modern
Modern
Family's
Family?
light.
Yeah.
You're okay with the gay couple on there?
They're funny. The
He didn't say no. He didn't say. He's like, yeah, they're funny though.
the sarcasm on that show is like no other place.
It's
the
great.
timing, it's beautiful.
So you like
And
the
plus
shaky
you got
cam? You like the
plus you
handheld?
got the Latina chick with the honkers. It helps.
Oh, Sofia Vergara. Oh, it's great.
Oh, is that her name?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus.
who knows?
Tristan can bro out. I like this. This guy's not normally like this. We would have talked about, I don't know, fucking what's kooky with a spork for 37 minutes, but because he's not, he can talk about Modern Family and Martin and a whole bunch of stuff. It's good.
Yeah,
good.
you've inter-tapped. You've tapped into my subconscious.
Well, yeah, about 55, 57.
56. Yeah, we're good. We got a few more minutes. Yeah.
We're vibing.
Wow.
Yeah.
The hour
Wait,
went quick, man.
what? I know, right? I legitimately wasn't expecting it to go by this quick. It was fucking impressive. But
Move and shake.
it's impressive talking to Mr. Rob. We're having fun.
I was like people that are ingrained in the scene that aren't comedians because you have a perspective to offer that like we don't have because all comedians have their own little fun agendas that get tied into like every move that we make. And you're just like, nah, I like seeing you guys do well.
Yeah, most stuff. You know, I try to support people, the best way possible. Like I said, I got into it in an interesting way. You know, started finally meeting people when I, started doing security and stuff. I had to get away from that because I like my weekends.
Yeah.
Because I got a regular day job, so working there 8 hours and then working another 6 at night, doing it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it was killing me. I miss it, but I don't miss it. You know what I'm saying?
Getting to see the big acts
Yeah.
pretty cool though.
Huh?
Getting to see the big acts on like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Believe it or not, it sounds crazy. I like smaller venues, smaller situations better than the bigger things.
So
Right.
you like
I can understand that completely because you have more control over the entire situation. You have like more of like just because from what I've seen, like just shows being run here. Like I did a 500 seater show earlier this week in New York City, and watching them go about that compared to the way they do it at Stand Up Live, it's like a fucking ordeal. It's like everyone is just running at constant speed. Like no one knows what's going on. It's just like everyone is like outside of like a theater, like an official theater. Like fucking you're going to see, it's like Sweeney Todd 2 days and then whoever the fuck comedy guy. It's like outside of that, it's like it's really hard to get like the dichotomy of it like going, which is it's really it's almost interesting just like standing at it from like an outside looking in perspective, just being like, yo, the room that I used to work in Phoenix is literally more seats than this. How are you having an issue with twice the staff?
Yeah.
I'm like
Right.
this doesn't make any sense. But
Like-
I'm just like, just because it's just like the influx of fucking like people that they didn't think would be there, or like even that, just be like the influx, just being like, all right, so it's gonna be a show, whatever happens, and it's just like people getting. It sucks because like a bunch of the staff, because at Stand Up Live they're used to that. They're used to that level of people coming in.
Yeah.
But at like those places, it's a flux. It's
'Cause
like
it's usually like people that they bring in like outside agencies for security, so they don't really have like the wherewithal of how to deal with it.
In the like literally the same stage I did on fucking Wednesday. In 2 weeks they're gonna have Soldier Boy. So like it's like I'm thinking about that perspective. It is just like, dude, it's crazy seeing these guys like just run around, and they're just, nobody is just like, I can imagine just like you see Stand Up Live, people are talking to like the comedians and stuff like that. Everybody has a general rapport, and it's just like the complete like dissection of that. To be like, oh, this person is working, we don't talk to them. And I'm just like, I'm like I feel like I'm the only guy, and I've learned this from Phoenix, going into like places and making friends with the staff. And like actually just being like, yo, talking to the staff. Every time I go to the stand and this one girl is working there, I buy her a cake. She buys like a piece of cake every night, and I get her a piece of cake. It's $7. It doesn't mean anything, but at the same time, it's just like it's nice, and you do that for another person, and it's people just like lose that as soon as they get like any sort of clout, where they're just like, yo, people aren't people, and it's very funny to see that get fucking like brake checked in New York City, because you can see people coming in from like, dude, they're fucking simmering hot shit in Boston. They're like sitting there doing their barstool stuff, and come in there and actually get just like, is like, yeah, what are you doing? Talk to me like a fucking person. Like, I literally had almost one person get kicked out, like on the show that I was with last night at the stand. One person almost got kicked out because they were being disrespectful. And
Rob.
it was
Rob.
it was someone who was like fucking quintessential to the show. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense.
No, Rob, I was gonna ask you before we head out of here. You work security on weekends.
I used to.
Yeah. Do you have like a crazy like we had to like grab this dude by like the back of his neck and carry him out, or is like,
I mean, I can't remember, situation to situation, but we've had a couple like that where people just drinking, doing stuff in the front, and yeah, those were cool, believe it or not. Where people acting up because you're expecting it. What's the guy's name that's going to be here in a couple of weeks? I forgot. Clean comedy dude. I forgot his name.
He's coming to Stand Up Live?
No. At Tempe. Looks like Howdy Doody.
He looks like Howdy Doody?
Yeah.
Is he a TikTok comedian?
No. Damn, I forgot his name. Anyway, he stated not last year, 2 years ago when he performed, there was somebody that had a medical emergency in the first couple of seats. Yeah. Last year when I was working, somebody had a medical emergency in his show, and he couldn't fucking believe it. So those actually throw you off more than anything.
Somebody just goes down, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
We have to.
Like, I got the training to throw somebody out, not, hey, I'm trying to save a life.
Didn't Heather McDonald pass out at the Improv last year on stage?
Yeah, that happened.
That's tough. Holy
hell.
Dude,
that was insane watching her. It was so funny just watching conservatives like latch onto that. Her entire pre-spiel up to her being like, ha ha ha, and then knocking out is her just being like, I got double vaxes. I'm feeling fine.
What?
I think God loves me more than anybody else.
Oh, man, I didn't know
and
it was
anyways,
like that.
Night. Dude, it was insane. I wanted to ask you about this, Rob. Do you remember kicking David Kays out?
No.
Like never allowing him back? Do you remember? So the one infamous New Faces story I heard was like back when I was like young in comedy, like 19. So like probably like 6 years ago, or like upward of there, and like it was David K's faking a proposal.
I've heard this story.
You faked a proposal?
Yeah,
You can do that?
I've heard this story.
Yeah, so he went on stage and was doing his set, and at the end of his set, he brings on another female comedian who nobody knew she wasn't on the set that night. She was just somebody that David K's came with, and he faked proposed to her, and she said no. And
pretty
it
fun.
tanked the entire fucking show.
That's pretty good.
It did, and he did a whole fucking puddles in his shoes, looking down at the floor like sad sap walk through the entire fucking showroom. And I just remember me asking David, just being like, "Yo, you want to come to New Faces?" and him laughing, being like, "I'm not allowed there anymore."
Nah, I don't remember anything like that. Trust
That was
me.
probably previous to you.
That's
If
funny as
anything.
hell.
No, no. The reason I brought up the tossing people out thing is because Tyler, he works security. Him and I have this ongoing thing where it's like, whenever we are at the club at the same time, at least one person's getting thrown from the room. I think we've only had like 2 nights where it hasn't happened. Every other time we're there together, he's like just taking someone out, and he looks at me in the green room like, "You motherfucker, it's your fault."
He is like the white version of Day Day from
Friday?
Friday 3. Jackpot! I mean, he's looking for somebody to toss on their ass. He's got no qualms. I try to give a person a shot.
Yeah.
Hey, let me look at him a little bit. Hey.
There's
That
He's like-
motherfucker's out.
Yeah, he's ready to
There's
put
a dude-
hands on a person.
Dude, there's a guy at the stand whose name is Pete. He's just a tall white guy with a mustache, but he's a fucking tall white guy, dude. He's like 6'7", and like he just sits there, and he's the nicest guy. But I've seen him put his hand on people's shoulders, and they turn around like it's the fucking devil.
Yeah. Because it could be a problem. It could be a big issue for them, and they feel it.
It's an issue for one person. It's an issue for everyone who isn't Pete. Dude, it's so fun. Just because I go up to him, I give him a hug, and then literally last night, someone was being rowdy downstairs at the stand, and I had to see him get into that one Henry Cavill moment in whatever the fuck Mission Impossible where he cocks his arms, ooh, and shit like that. Or he cocks his arms and he's like, "What the fuck?" Dude, I saw him do that last night, and I was kind of just legitimately afraid because I put him on I saw him do a posture that I've never seen anyone do, where he's just like, "I'm a brute now," and then just walks into a showroom, and I'm like, "You're gonna pick him up by his fucking ankles and carrying him out
Yeah.
like a freshly caught fish."
And you need about 2 or 3 guys like that at every show. And there are at New Faces. So if you're a new comedian, go out and do it. Hit up Rob. Rob, what's the email for it?
Are we cleaning up?
newfacesaz@gmail.com. Really quick before we spread out, I just want to say something about the show. Number one, I want to give a super shout out to all the staff at all the places that I work with, from CB Live, Stand Up Live, Tempe Improv. Because one thing you said about it, that thing runs like a machine. You got all those people walking into some of the smallest spaces with food and drink, and it very, very rarely happens where they drop something. So
Never.
You know what I'm saying?
Almost never.
Yeah.
Those kids are high as a kite walking around that place.
Yeah, you guys had Aldo employed.
But they do their thing. And another thing I want to bring up is one thing that the haters don't like about New Faces is the bringer rule. And I want to definitely bring this up because people say, "Hey, why do I have to bring people?" You guys can testify to this. Those rooms are a decent size where we can have a capacity of, of maximum 400 to 600 people in that room. We want to get at least 120. We want to get at least 120 in there. 120 in both places. It feels good.
Yeah.
And people have this misunderstanding that 120 to 150 people are just coming off the street saying, "Hey, I want to go see comedy."
Right.
It ain't going to happen. That's why we have the 10-person bringer rule. Because if you bring 10, and everybody brings 10, and it's 15 people on the bill, that's 150, 250 people.
Right.
But if nobody brings their 10 and everybody brings 3 or 4, there's 70 people, and then you're wondering, man, why ain't nobody clapping? Because there's nobody there. And it's this decent size, hall. So I just want to emphasize why we do what we do with the 10-person rule.
Absolutely. If people don't understand the concept of that, every single time I've done New Faces, I've fucking promoted it as hard as I can because that's literally the most important part of fucking New Faces.
Right.
Is just like having people and luckily I'm in like a position to where like if I come through and like just even do a spot on New Faces, I can like promote it and get a couple people in there just based off of me just not even talking to nobody. But like it's different for like the people who are doing it and the people who are like actively like it's honestly a fucking shame that people don't give a shit as much as people should. It's it's honestly a shame that people like kind of like brush off like even like New Face just being like, yeah, it's a bringer, whatever. No, it's not a bringer. It's your fucking first step into something. It's like it's so important to your career. It's like definitely like if there was a fucking picture day for you doing stand-up comedy, this is it. It's like put on your fucking duds, look nice, bring your friends, and like put out a fucking show. Best case scenario, you get a clip that goes well. And like worst case scenario, you get acknowledged by the staff and people understand that you're a good fucking comedian, not just like an outlier.
Yeah, not just a jamoke.
Yeah, it's just there's no downside to it, and the people that shit on it are just people who just don't understand how comedy works. Because coming from a guy who's living in New York and still having to do bringers, and the thing is, I have to do bringers when I know fucking whop 0 people, and I'm like, I'm having to do this shit, and I'm like, yo, I was fucking all that in a bag of fucking tricks. In New York, in fucking Phoenix, Arizona. I could do all this shit, but when I come here, and it's like that was the first 3 months just being nobody, having no friends. And people don't understand that to where they're like, oh, yeah, I want to do this shit full time. It's like, yeah, well, congratulations. You're going to be hated for months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also thought you had to be invited on the shows. That's why I waited a little bit because I was like, oh, dude, it's the improv. They only get the band. And then Peter Jordan's like, no, I saw someone, it was their first time ever. I was like, and I'm not getting asked to do this shit.
Fuck, man. Somehow the dude who's never done it's better at networking than you.
And I'm not unwrapping my golden chocolate bar to see the ticket waiting for me.
Well, I thought they schooled you on what happened.
I came in, it was like Tristan said, I moved here knowing nobody, so I started from scratch. And like it was probably like 4 months into me being here where somebody was like, no, yeah, you just gotta hit them up, bring some people, and then you're good to go. And I was like, oh, yeah. Okay, cool, yeah.
When he first started being our sound guy, he didn't even speak English. He moved quick as hell.
Yeah.
And he said, "No habla el boom," and you're like, "Yes, hold that right there."
Yeah,
the only sound he understood, he spoke no native language. The only sound he understood was raw wave audio.
Anyway, I think that's all we got. Thank you for joining. Hey, join the internal affairs level of the Patreon. It's where all the fun, juicy, behind-the-scenes stuff happens at. Thank you for the boys. Thank you, Rob, for being on.
New Faces, az@gmail.com. Come and check me. Big Rob, also known as Bobby Las Vegas. Come also check me out as Bobby.Las Vegas Presents. I'm on YouTube. Huh?
No, sorry, I was hyped.
Yeah. Because I even have some of the shows on my YouTube site, so come check it out. Bobby.Las Vegas Presents on YouTube.
I'm only calling you Bobby Las Vegas from now on.
What do you think got the fucking card shirt? Bobby Las Vegas, man.
I know.
We gotta get better merch. We gotta get way better merch. What the fuck? I didn't even realize he was wearing branded. God damn. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out.
Have a great one.